God created us as relational beings. And right from the start of the biblical narrative, we learn that when relationships are broken, when Adam and Eve and God were no longer together in the garden, it affected their whole life. It still affects us today. That's why it's so important for us to cultivate relationships, both within the church, but also outside and in the world. When we look in the New Testament and we read the stories from Paul and his missionary journeys to non-Jewish people, he created a network of support. Each place he went, he created friendships that he kept in touch with through letters and through people coming and going. We can think of this and be inspired as we get out of our normal social circles and expand them and create points of contact in our world today. During the time that my family and I lived in the Sultanate of Oman, our children created friendships with people from around the world. This was impactful not just for our kids, but for our whole family. My daughter brought home her friend from Syria. And as we talked to her about her family's culture and how they hadn't been back to Syria in a long time due to war, we were able to understand different aspects of that particular context, which before we had only read in the papers. My other daughter brought home a friend from the Ukraine. Again, we were able to learn about her culture, some of her family's traditions, which they held dear, and also the fact that they never planned on living in the Ukraine again because of war. Her grandmothers came to visit in the Sultanate of Oman and would return to the Ukraine, but the family had plans for the future where their children would not have to be citizens of a country at war. Again, this helped us understand the impacts of conflict on a very basic level for the day-to-day living of a family. And it helped us see beyond what the news was telling us and into the personal lives of people. But what was so special about the relationship with this Ukrainian family and this family originally from Syria was that it was mutual. As much as we hosted them, they hosted us. As much as we asked about their background, their cultural context, their beliefs in God, they asked about our faith. These type of relationships give much deeper input and impact than reading news stories or going on social media. We were able to deal with our friends' real needs, sadness, and joys in real time in context of our relationship. And because we had created a safe space together, we were able to share deeply from our own personal values and our faith in Christ as the bringer of peace into our lives. Because we had this relationship of friendship, I wasn't thinking so much about my witness, but I was thinking about our relationship. And it made it for such a comfortable space for sharing. And it meant that we had an opening for God's Spirit to move. That's something we can't control. We were focused on that relationship, and God's Spirit moved all of us. Not just myself to my Syrian friends, but them to me, and God moved through that relationship. I've been impacted so much by the different people I've met over the years, living in Bangladesh and Oman, and I'm so thankful for that. Think about your own relationships that you have or ones that you might create. How might they impact you? How might they inform your understanding of God and also your spiritual walk? Think about how you could maintain these relationships even if you're not living in the same places, or your habits changed and you no longer cross paths with them on a regular basis. The people we meet today will still impact our future. And it's good to remember, like Paul did, to keep our network growing and to keep good connections. Think about the different habits you have in your life, in your week, in your days. Do you go to the coffee shop a lot? Maybe consider starting to go to a coffee shop where people from different cultures also meet. Maybe go to a coffee shop that's owned by someone from a different culture than you are, and then make a habit of it. You don't have to go every day, but maybe go once a month or once a week, because you'll start seeing the same people, and you'll give yourself the opportunity to create new relationships with people who are different from you. Likewise, if you have churches in your community where people worship differently than you're used to, or people from different parts of the world gather to worship, people from different cultures, attend one of those services and then do it again. Do it every other month. Do it twice a year. Make a habit of it so that you can become familiar with not only how they worship, but the people that attend. You might find new friendships.